from Hollywood, this is Harrison.
Harris with you. This is Goharrison. We are on WCOBM.com as well as KPFK 90.7 FM in Los Angeles and a variety of other ways up and down wherever you happen to live. Down being the key word because we're going to talk about what it means to go down and to go up in just a sec. I want to invite you on a one-time only special trip to be one of the first people to sail to Cuba in 50 years. With interior cabins for a week-long, 5-star luxury cruise ship voyage around the entire island of Cuba with multiple port calls starting at only $16.98. Be among the first in 50 years to see Cuba while it's still the Cuba that people talk about. Harrison with you. This is Goharrison, and of course you know Tony Boldi. He is the ubiquitous presence.
I like that word.
Here on WCOBM, whatever that means. But he is ubiquitous and a ubiquitor for sure. We're going to talk a little bit today about relationships because that is the bottom line of everyone's existence. If you look at the internet, it exists for one thing: sex. Actually shopping or something. But it is, look at GoDaddy.com,
right.
One of the largest retailers of .coms. What was it originally? A porn site.
GoDaddy was.
GoDaddy was a porn site.
Wow.
So the internet was built, thanks to Al Gore, on porn. The information here's a little tidbit about the internet, just because it's kind of fascinating. Yeah. It was militarily built in the 1960s.
Oh, yeah, Internet 1.
Yes. Right, so that if there was the great nuclear explosion, they would have a way to communicate between the White House and whatever, and they realized, well, this is kind of obsolete, so let's just turn it over to the country. Right. And what do we use it for? Porn!
Well, that's where it started, right?
Yeah.
I mean, between military and porn, we get our technology.
Right.
And then it gets worked out, and they work out the bugs, and then it goes to the common folk. And then we're in, I think, Internet 2, and I think the military has Internet 3 or 4 or something like that.
And plus drones. Who needs the internet?
You can sit in a drone now? They have this super drone. I just saw it on Facebook. Doesn't mean it's real, but I'm sure it is. Where you can sit in these drones and somebody else can fly you with no pilot. Would you get in that?
These aren't military-grade drones. These are like just personal drones for
These
like
are going to be
$100,000.
new ways of traveling if they perfect it. But, there's no pilot. It's computers.
So Timmy is sitting in the basement, jerking off and flying you around in a drone.
Or getting into your pathway and then taking over the controls of that, and then you're going where he wants you to go. The future's like exciting and scary at the same time.
Well, it is, especially when you look at drones, which they're trying to regulate now. Just even the ones you buy at Radio Shack and you put your little
they're
GoPro
getting into
in
fly
there.
space.
That's right.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
That's right. I mean, who thought of that? Where it looks like in sci-fi movies where you have multi-level planes flying. It's becoming that
now,
today.
Absolutely. And then what is it? The shipping companies talking about door-to-door Amazon shipping your stuff via drones,
That's
but
right.
they have to get past the ability to not cause accidents when they deliver your package. But it's coming.
Drones are fascinating because everyone is like nervous about this idea. And there is one military-grade drone called the Hummingbird. And the Hummingbird is about this big.
The spying hummingbird?
And they hover outside your window. They can hear everything that's going on. They can see in the dark, in the light. It really doesn't matter. And they can triangulate and see almost in 3D, sort of holographically. And there is no privacy.
No.
When you stroke on your keyboard,
right?
The key,
dramatic pause.
Yes, dramatic pause. When you stroke on your keyboard, it can be monitored remotely. So they can see what you're typing, even though nobody sees your screen.
Well, that's with the Hummingbird, but they can do that just by tapping into the way the internet works. I mean, we've lost our privacy a long, long time ago. Now we're just aware of it. But every corner in Hollywood has a camera on it. I mean, there is no privacy. So for me, I'm not doing anything wrong, so I'm not worried about it. But those of you that are doing something wrong and are in uproar about it, but then what's next, right? Is it Orwell's?
Yes.
That's what's coming. That's what's scary. You know, I don't want to get into. I know this is a very controversial show, and you love going there and about taking our guns away, so the politicians have the guns and all this Orwell stuff.
Well, that's interesting.
You've heard that many
times.
Yes,
of course.
Right? So, is that happening, or isn't it happening, or do we have the ability to stop it? Is it too late? It's all these controversial questions. But the trick is, what works for you, and what can you do with the little bit of reach that we have here? We can voice our opinion. We can inspire people to go well, we're not, because the giant got, David and Goliath, the giant got taken down by a bunch of little tiny critters there. So we can do it too if we team up together, if we work together. So I love what you're doing here at WCOBM. Well, I've become Where's Waldo of this station. I was just on Pat O'Brien's show. I was almost on Joanne Powell's show, and then, my show, and I have 2 shows. So I'm honored to be on your show. I'm honored to get into the controversy with this gentleman here. He's good at stirring the pot, but he also does his research. He's telling the truth. And people need to hear it, and this is the platform you can tell the truth on.
Well, I think that's kind of the key here, is using the modern technology, like your seriously, using technology in a way to not steal from people, but contribute to them.
Absolutely.
Because most of the technology is taking from people. Right. And here at WCOBM, it's about giving back.
Right.
We've got parades coming up that we're going to...
Are you excited about that? The Hollywood Parade goes right here on Hollywood and Vine.
Right.
I think it's going to be you, myself, hopefully Pat O'Brien, and Joanne. The 4 of us could sit here and commentate on the parade, and maybe have a camera out there on that big tree right there. And
you can't see what we're looking at, but we can see it.
We can see Hollywood and Vine live right there.
Is there a tree? There is a tree in Hollywood.
You remember when we used to broadcast that back here?
Yeah, that's right.
I love your backgrounds, though.
Yeah.
You have some pretty... You do those yourself?
Yes.
This man is very, very powerful. He's very,
very
talented.
Powerful.
He's very kind. But we never got into dating.
So we were going to actually talk about dating.
We got 2 minutes.
So, online dating,
yes.
Everyone has done it. Mm-hmm. Everyone's had a blowout. Everyone has gotten pictures from somebody, and then you go and meet them, and it just doesn't seem to be the same person.
No.
Yeah.
Have what aging does, or
right.
ripping off somebody else's photo does.
Yeah. Have you had any experiences with online dating?
I have never even used any of these dating apps out there. I haven't needed to. I've been married for almost 5 years, been together 7 years, part of that 5 years, and so I never needed the dating app.
Yeah.
And I was trying for social media to join every social media site I could, and I did end up joining one that was a dating app by mistake, and as soon as I realized it was a dating app, I tried to delete it. It won't let me delete the site. My wife's friend says, "Hey, your husband's on this dating app." So my wife thinks I'm cheating on her, and didn't tell me, but I noticed there was a problem in our relationship, and eventually months later she told me, "Why are you on this dating site?" And I'm like, "What dating site?" And I don't remember which one it was, and I said, "I'm not on that site." I said, "I tried to join this social media site. I realized it was a dating site. I deleted it." It's like, "Well, it's not deleted. There's your account right there. And you matched up with my best friend." I'm like, "Oh, we're a match?"
Uh-oh.
I thought that was funny. It didn't go over so well with my wife. But I've never seen anything good come from dating apps. Personally, doesn't mean that there hasn't been successful relationships based on that, but just because it fits on a piece of paper doesn't mean it's right.
And we're in Hollywood, California here, and there's billboards just not even a block from here.
Right.
We apparently are the syphilis capital of Earth.
Oh, are we?
Gonorrhea, trichovaginitis, spirochetal charms. I mean, things that nobody would even want to see in a test tube.
Right.
And the apps, especially the owner of the apps, when they design them, the owners of these apps design them because they want to get laid. And they can't do it in regular old-fashioned ways. Meet people in a restaurant, court them, have a conversation.
Right.
So you go from hors d'oeuvre to dessert, and you get to bypass the entree.
Right.
And the rest of us are forced to live like that.
Yeah. No, I'm not for it. I'm not for it. But, to each their own. And I'm not going to judge anybody. It's just not something I use.
Now you know. If he's ever single again, you got a real catch.
Oh, look at that. Thank you. Well, I enjoy being Waldo on your show.
I appreciated it, too.
And we'll see where I pop up next.
Harrison with you. It's been a pleasure talking with you, Tony Boldi.
Thank you, sir.
And we will do it again.
Welcome aboard to WCOBM.
All right, my friends. Hang on. More to come.
From Hollywood, this is Harrison.